I'm Supriya Dwivedi. I'm a talk radio host and columnist for AM 640. As Myanmar uses military violence to drive out a religious minority by the hundreds of thousands, Canada has a chance to take a powerful moral stand on the world stage. The words refugee crisis dominate the news cycle these days. The latest involves Rohingya Muslims fleeing Myanmar. They are an ethnic and religious minority in the country once known as Burma, where the majority population is Buddhist. The Rohingya are not recognized to be citizens of Myanmar, making them effectively stateless. In recent months, hundreds of thousands of them have fled their homes, driven out by murderous military force and terror, in what the United Nations and others have called a textbook example of state-sponsored ethnic cleansing and genocide. Confronted with these situations, we often hear cries of "never again." Without action, those cries ring hollow. You may ask, what can a country like Canada, half a world away, do anything about what is happening to Myanmar? But here's something Canada can do. Aung San Suu Kyi, the de facto civilian leader of the country, was once a darling of the international community. She was revered for enduring 15 years in detention or house arrest by Myanmar's military junta, never backing down in her calls for peaceful democratic reform in her country. She's a Nobel Peace Prize winner and received honorary Canadian citizenship in 2012. Nobody can fault the Canadian government for thinking at the time that Aung San Suu Kyi deserved to be in the company of other honorary Canadians, like Nelson Mandela, who helped South Africa heal from the racist legacy of apartheid. Raoul Wallenberg, honored for saving tens of thousands of Hungarian Jews from the Holocaust. Another honorary citizen is the Dalai Lama, leader of Tibetan Buddhism, who has said the Buddha himself would have helped the Rohingya. All of this poses the question, does Aung San Suu Kyi still belong in that company? Well, she has refused to speak out against what is happening to the Rohingya, blaming fake news and a campaign of misinformation for the global outrage she's facing. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has urged Suu Kyi to publicly condemn the persecution of the Rohingya, to little effect. It's time to be clear about what Canada doesn't stand for. Suu Kyi's defenders may argue that no one can really know what pressure she's under to maintain her status in Myanmar's government. That may be true, but ultimately immaterial given the grave situation faced by the Rohingya. She has clearly abandoned the role we once honored her for, an unflinching champion of human rights and democracy. It's time to take away her honorary Canadian citizenship. For The National, I'm Supriya Dwivedi.